Hey folks, Fernando doing another video for the Modern Survivalist. Before I get started with this one, I just want to go over this weekend's live stream. Unfortunately, Matt was not able to make it because he had internet problems, but we still hang there for a while, answered a few questions, and it was still good. I had a good time. I hope you guys did as well. Also, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, of course, so as to not miss videos. And it also really helps the channel, and the more people subscribe, the more it's recommended by YouTube, and more the message and the mindset that I try to promote in this channel gets out there. And the more like-minded people we have out there, the better, especially in these trying times. So just subscribing does help regarding all of that. Also, some of the things that most of you are probably aware of regarding my books, which I of course promote all the time here in my channel for obvious reasons, but it's in stuff like this, in this video that we're going to be analyzing in a second, that lots of the things that I wrote about here, street survival skills, apply to what you see here. So, and let me know in the comments below, if for those of you that bought either Street Survival Skills or the Modern Survival Manual, what you think of it, if you found it useful, if you like it. But for people that haven't been in the channel long enough, the idea is to complement one with the other. The channel is packed full of information. I've been doing this for many years, so I believe there's good information already in the channel, and that's working along with the book. So it's working together in many aspects, such as this one. Look, this is a pretty sad video, guys. This is it happened in Argentina, in the suburbs of Buenos Aires. It's actually the southern suburbs where I used to live. This was happening in May, of 2021, or so it's this year, May of this year, and it's a car wash, and a father and son working in this car wash, and they just suffer a robbery, and the son gets shot and ends up getting killed. So a few things here. This is one of the things where I always talk, and especially in the book and here in the channel all the time, awareness. Look around, see what's going on. In this case, though, you're looking at a car wash where there's strange people all the time. This is the nature of the business. This is why usually in something like this, especially if you don't have any skin in the game, or especially if it's something that would really have like minimal damage, if they get away with stealing something, let's say they steal a car, really, if that's done soon enough, no one gets hurt, that is probably one of the best outcomes, not having anyone risk their lives. Now, having said that, you can still look around and see for suspicious people, hands in the pockets or hands close to the waist. That's something I explain in the book. That's something you see here as well. So you see this guy and the accomplice here waiting around. This is an employee. He has no clue what's going on here. But these two, you see the hands there in the clothes, typical of someone that probably has a firearm, and he in fact does have a gun. And he's going to be bringing it out as soon as he sees this guy exit the vehicle. There he goes. Boom, goes into action. The guy has no clue what's going on. He's just working. And there, the guy with a revolver, notice how he cocks the hammer in his revolver. This is a vicious criminal. This is someone that has no hesitation in shooting someone. Look, anyone that knows anything about guns, revolvers, double action, single action revolvers, you don't need to cock the hammer. You don't need to have it ready to shoot in single action. That is like hair trigger sensitivity. That is the slightest bit of pressure you put there, you're going to be shooting. So the guy does not care whatsoever. Of course he doesn't, because he's a criminal in Argentina, where the government is basically, he has his back. The government is very much wink wink okay with people like these, because they consider these poor victims of the evil American capitalist empire. So they are already making excuses all the time for these scumbags. So they know that the government has their back. I mean, they are their base of voters. They're their main market in terms of elections. So he has full confidence in getting away with whatever awful thing he does. He puts the gun at his head, directly pointing at his face. Give me the keys. He says, give me the keys, give me the keys. The father seems to, and as always, we can never judge what people do in these situations. The guy is working. Imagine if you're in your office This guy is in his office. This car wash is his workplace. All of a sudden, he turns around and sees a gun pointed at his face. Finger in the trigger guard, single action, cocked revolver, probably a 38, 32, doesn't matter. Give me the keys. The guy hesitates here. If you do have the mind, if you remain cool enough, hand over the keys. It's really not worth getting shot over something like this. And he has the drop on you. He has a gun pointed at your face, hammer cocked. You really should just give away the key, and that is it. Unfortunately, he hesitates because of fear, because of confusion, God knows what. But he hesitates a little bit, and unfortunately, his son comes around the other way. His son reacting, why? Probably he doesn't even know there's an ongoing robbery. Probably he thinks like an upset client, someone elevating the tone of voice, or some fast movement, something that he already detected as maybe there's a fight, maybe there's a discussion. What, you have a problem with my old man? So he's coming around, look, what's going on here? He does not realize until it's too late that this is a robbery. And he points the gun, and the guy just freezes. 23-year-old kid. It is so sad. And one of the things that this guy does, knowing that he's a vicious criminal in a country that is perfect for him, he just goes and tries to hit the kid, the guy, 23-year-old young man, over the head with a revolver, as he probably has done 1,000 times. This is one of the things. Basic intimidation tactics. I'm going to be hitting you over the head. Unfortunately, he's a little bit too tall. And what he does is, the natural reaction when someone tries to hit you is, you do like this. And he does that and stops the gun from hitting him in the head. And by then, it's unfortunately too late, because this guy decided that if you're not going to be letting me hit you over the head with it, I'm just going to be killing you. So he just does that. He points a gun at him and just shoots him in the chest. One shot, goes down, he's dead right there. And that is it. The father, desperate, tries to fight with a broom of all things. You know what? If you can, you guys that have the opportunity, especially in countries where you can have your concealed carry license, have your gun. At least you'll be much better off than fighting with a broom. But that's what he does. He just tries to hit the guy with a broom. He fortunately goes around the car, avoids getting shot himself, and then they take off, and that's that. The accomplice leaves, and that is just too late. Too damn late. This is very, very sad. One of the things I explain in the book is, when it's something like this, when it's this kind of situation, if you couldn't hand over the car keys or the cell phone or the wallet, and it's all done in just a few seconds, and they leave, that is the best outcome. Just get out of here, go on with your life. It's going to be the cheapest solution. It's going to be the safest thing if they just leave. Now, you don't always know if they're going to be leaving, if you're going to be leaving you alone. Sometimes you give them the keys, sometimes you give them the wallet, the cell phone, and they still shoot you. I have no idea if this guy would have shot them, no matter if they give them the car keys or not. What I do know, though, is that once it's in this position, once this happened, that the guy, there's a fight going on. Once you are fighting for your life, in this moment, look, when this happens, right, and he's attacking you, once this happens, you want to stink the guy. Stink is a word used by Crafty Dog from Dog Brothers. Look those up. Dog Brothers are guys that fight with sticks. Very realistic fighting. And it's Crafty Dog? There's different dog names. I think it's Crafty Dog that says stink him, like stay on him like a smell. You just leave him no distance. You just close in, wrap yourself, you control that hand with the gun. He probably had a good shot at that if he had fought and stayed on him, keeping on him, but there's a savvy, crafty, streetwise criminal. He takes a step back, and the kid, unfortunately, does not follow through with that confrontation, and he's there. He's done. At that point, he's done. What you want to do there is what I describe here in street survival skills in this part, where you're grappling and fighting over the control of a weapon. Now, specifically, I want you to look at this picture right here. You see that with a revolver with a cocked hammer, the hammer pulled back? That is what you're seeing right there. and it could be a pistol. So what is it that you're going to be doing depending on if it's a pistol or a revolver, depending on which one it is? And you don't always get the chance, but sometimes you do see it sometimes. And people that have gone through these things, they say that they even knew the brand of the gun, you know, because your senses are so tuned into fighting in that moment. So if it's a pistol, you wrap your hand around it. This is basic stuff in self-defense. If you manage to pull the gun away from you and there's a round fired, it's only going to be one round fired. If you just have a somewhat strong grip around this slide, you're going to be causing an interruption. It's going to be firing just one round, and the empty is not going to be ejecting. You're going to be interrupting the gun, and that's the point where you're going to keep fighting and getting this out of your attacker. At the very least, he has an interruption to deal with, which he probably does not know how to resolve, okay? So that's what you're doing with a pistol, with a semi-automatic. Now, in the case of a revolver, my suggestion is going for this. You want to wrap your hand as much as you can. I understand this is very difficult and your life is probably at great risk, but you do that because if it's the case as in that one and the hammer is already cocked like that, you want to put as much of your hand between the hammer and the firing pin. In this case, unfortunately, well, it's depending if you're using it for defense or not, but in this case, someone trying to do that, he's going to be having even a harder time because the pin is mounted in the hammer, and with these sides there's even less room to do that. So it would be very difficult for someone trying to defend themselves with this gun to get the meaty part of your hand between those. Usually modern revolvers, this is a pretty peculiar one, but most modern revolvers don't have that. It's mounted there in the frame usually. So you're not going to be seeing that many newer guns. It's usually going to be quite flat there, not mounted in the hammer itself. But you want to do that because if you get your hand in there, even if it fires, it's going to be pinching, it's going to be hurting. Yes, but that's much better than actually getting shot. Besides that, if you just wrap your hand around it, if it's in double action and the hammer is not mounted, this will not fire because you're not allowing the cylinder to rotate. If the cylinder does not rotate, then the hammer does not go back and he cannot fire. So as long as you press it hard, you have a much better chance of surviving this encounter. Anyway, guys, this is all extremely dangerous stuff, but if you know this kind of information and you find yourself fighting for your life with someone that you believe he's going to be shooting you, this is probably what you want to go for in terms of controlling that firearm. Folks, going to be all for now. Subscribe to the channel, books, links below if you're interested. See you on the next video. Take care.